Hi, my name is Amy Jeanroy and you're watching The Farming Wife. Today I'm going to show you how to make homemade soy milk from soy flour. I'm going to start with a brand of soy flour that I found at my grocery store. This one is Hodgson Mill. I've used a bunch of different varieties and it always comes out just about the same. When you first open it, you shouldn't notice any sour flavor or smell, and if you taste it a little bit on your tongue, it shouldn't taste at all sour. If it does, it means that the soy flour is old and that sour taste will transfer into the soy milk, so don't bother. Of course, we usually start with beans when we make our soy milk, but this just kind of skips a step, and in 20 minutes you'll have soy milk. So let's get started. To make soy milk from soy flour, measure 6 cups of water and put it to boil on high heat. Then measure out 1 cup of soy flour and set that aside. Once your water reaches a full rolling boil, turn it down just a bit to a simmer. There we go. And then slowly sprinkle in your 1 cup of soy flour. You're kind of taking it easy just in case your water is still a little bit hot. Sometimes it can really foam up. In fact, you'll find that it's natural for it to really foam up, So don't be alarmed if that happens. I like to stir it as much as I can. See how it's getting really foamy? Now when you're making cooking soybeans, the same thing happens. It really foams up and it can overflow super quickly, so be really careful about that. Okay, it hasn't even been a whole minute yet and you can see it's really starting to foam up. I've switched to a whisk just to be sure that I get all of the soy flour mixed in, and you can really work this as much as you'd like. See all the foam? It's really normal. So make sure that your pan is much larger than you think you're going to need. I know we only have 6 cups of water in here, but I'm using my largest spaghetti sauce pan so that if it does and when it does foam up, it won't foam over because it happens pretty quickly. Okay, there's still some lumps in there, so we're going to do it a little bit more. It's not that thick. Kind of like a thin gravy consistency, and that's really what you want, is just to have it be nice and smooth and a little bit thicker than just plain water. There we go. Okay, so we are all done at this stage. All we do now is keep it on a nice simmer. Let's take a look here. There you go. There it is. Keep it on a nice simmer, and once it's simmering, can you see how it's starting to creep up the sides? You really have to watch this because it foams up quite a bit. I'm going to turn it down even more. There. There we go. See, it went back down a little bit. Okay, this is not something that you can leave the kitchen while you're doing. You really have to watch it because it's just crazy how it foams up. But anyhow, stay in the kitchen, stay close by. You're going to stir it every few minutes to make sure that it's, not stuck to the pan, and set your timer for 20 minutes. So once it's at a good simmer there, now that's good. I feel comfortable walking away now. Can you see I have foam kind of around the edges, but you can see in the center there it's not going to go over the pan. Okay, so I'm going to go set my timer for 20 minutes and then we will be right back. Okay, it's been 20 minutes, and before I strain this, I wanted to show you how it's going to look after that time. You can see on the sides of the pan it really foamed up quite high during the process. I just had to keep turning it down and a little bit up and a little down just to get the right temperature, but you really do have to stand right here because it happens quickly. Okay, so 20 minutes has gone by. I'm going to turn off the heat. And we are going to pour this into my jar. This is an old pickle jar from the grocery store, and I use it to put a lot of things into, but of course I don't seal it like you would a canning jar. But it's perfect for this. It fits in the fridge and the kids can pour it pretty nicely. It's not even quite 2 quarts, I don't think. Anyhow, what I've done is poured boiling hot water all over the jar. I did this kind of in increments just to heat up the glass, which is why I'm talking so quickly, but I didn't want to pour really hot soy milk into a cold glass jar. It just makes me nervous to do that. So I did heat up the jar, so I better stop talking and kind of show you what I'm going to do. Oh, one last thing. What we're doing is straining any little lumps or bits that may still be in the soy milk, just straining that out. And I'm going to be using this funky jar and my canning funnel and another strainer that I have on hand. I didn't have any muslin right now, of course, so I'm going to kind of jerry-rig this, but don't worry, I'll be careful. And hold on one second, let me get set up and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, we're all set. Here's the jar and the strainer configuration. What I'm going to do with one hand is pour it slowly in. And see all those little bits? There's nothing wrong with that. It's just when you're having a glass of soy milk, you don't want that in your mouth. It's just the texture. Okay, done. So there's that, and I did it with one hand. That's pretty cool. Okay, so you can see there's not a whole lot left over in there, but there's just enough that you really don't want any of that in your glass of soy milk. What I'm going to do now is take this apart and wash everything. Meanwhile, I am going to let this soy milk, which is ready to drink but super hot, I'm going to let it cool down just a little bit so that I can put it in my refrigerator. But it is ready to go right now. If you were having oatmeal or some sort of warm food that you needed hot soy milk on, or it wouldn't bother to be hot, you'd be all set. At this point, if you like to drink your soy milk sweetened, you could add a little bit of your favorite sweetener, be it cane sugar, a little bit of maple syrup, some stevia would be kind of nice in it. And we just drink it plain. That way if I need to sweeten it, I can, but if I'm making a savory dish like mac and cheese or something, I already have the savory and I don't have to worry about the sweet taste. Another nice thing that we like when we do sweeten it is a little touch of vanilla. For this amount right here, gosh, I probably wouldn't even measure. I would just put a drop or two of vanilla. You really don't need a whole lot, just depending on what your family likes. So, okay, again, I'm Amy Jean Roy, and you're watching The Farming Wife. Bye-bye.